This is one of the headlines today. This is from the Daily Mail. The bitter end. Wilder's exit had been in the pipeline after rows with the owner. Look, we know that it's not yet been confirmed, but it very much looks like Chris Wilder is going to be leaving Sheffield United. Exactly a year since all Premier League and EFL games were cancelled due to the coronavirus crisis, and it feels like it's impacted few clubs in terms of results like Sheffield United. But talking about results, it says here actually in the paper, 94 league wins for Wilder at Sheffield United. Only Pep and Jurgen have had more in England since he was appointed in 2016. Let's be frank, it's the end for him now at Sheffield United, but he leaves as their greatest ever manager, would you say? It feels like it.
Definitely, and he leaves with his head completely held high. Listen, he won the Manager of the Year award, LMA award, runner-up as well in the last 2 years. It speaks volumes of what he's done. Joined the club in League One, and then got him to the Premier League. Almost got him to Europe.
Yeah.
This guy, he won't be scratching around to get a club. I think there'll be loads of suitors trying to get him to be a manager at their club. Wholehearted Sheffield United fan. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a statue outside that stadium one day, because of what he done there. He lifted the spirits of not only the club but the city, a local guy, and a salt of the earth type of guy. But I think he was disappointed in terms of maybe the lack of investment of the whole club, the infrastructure of creating something that's sustainable to where it got them.
Right, let's talk then about spending money and investing in Sheffield United, because when you look at the money they have spent, and this will be a surprise I think to a few people, they're sixth in the Premier League table in terms of net spend since they got promoted back to the Premier League, but that only tells part of the story.
It does only tell part of the story, because when you think of the money spent, we go concentrate on the transfer fees, but it's the wages. What can you spend? And Sheffield United don't spend the wages. So when he's gone to the owners and said, look, I want Ollie Watkins, I want Callum Wilson, he couldn't compete with Newcastle and Aston Villa wages-wise. So although they spent money, and you had to spend money from League One. I think going back to what Rio says, but Sheffield United were in the doldrums for so many years in League One, and they spent money. They was always spending money in League One, trying to get up to the Championship, and they got up to the Championship and then trying to spend. You have to spend money and bring the players in. He's got to the Premier League. He's not just survived, they thrived in the league. They brand a football that was fantastic to watch, got all the plaudits, and then you think, if you're a sensible owner of that football club, you go, right, let's back this man. What's he telling me? Right, we need to up the wages, because he needs people like Ollie Watkins or Callum Wilson, goal scorers, whoever else is in his targets. We need to get them in the door to take this team on another level, and they've just not backed him. And it doesn't make sense to me.
About just saying spend
no,
when you come up. Like, I have an issue with the fact that they've announced developments to the training ground that haven't happened. That feels to me like a much more sustainable long-term spend of the money.
That's the bigger picture, where I think there's been not only Chris Wilder, but I think Sheffield United have been let down in that sense. The fans, they want to see the club growing. There's other clubs in the league, in the Championship, with better facilities than Sheffield United. So that's a big problem, I'm sure. But I think when you look at the players that have come in, I think recruitment probably needed improvement, 100%. But the players that did come in the door, you'd say that they were probably looking almost to build for actually Championship times.
Yeah. Because
those players, they weren't ready-made Premier League players. There was a gamble on a couple of players, and that's maybe an area where they fell down as well. But in terms of what he brought to that football club, I think he can walk out of that club, and I think that's what you want as a player, as a manager. When you leave a club, can you walk out with your head held high? Chris Wilder can.
I just wonder where it leaves Sheffield United as a football club as well. You know, Norwich, I know I talk about them a lot, but they're a club with a plan, so they go down, stick with the manager, the plan brings them back up. Brighton, if they do go down, they'll have a plan. The plan will most likely bring them back up. Away from the way Chris Wilder played football and won games, what's the plan at Sheffield United?
The plan, I can't see the plan. So, and I feel for Sheffield United fans, because I'd be very concerned and very worried, because they sort of not stumbled upon Chris Wilder. Someone had got him through the door, and they need a pat on the back for doing that. But you got him through the door. He's proven himself, done an amazing job, and then you've let him go. It'd be interesting to see what they do in the next 6 months, 12 months, because they probably will go down. We all agree on that. And then, like you said, it's not like a Brighton or a Norwich, your team, where there is sustainability at the core. I don't know. I don't know the owners. We don't know what their plans are. But it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But I'm slightly concerned for Sheffield United.
And just for complete transparency, you're involved in New Era, which is the management company that looks after Chris Wilder as well. So his plan will be to get back into the game as quick as possible, I imagine.
I'm sure. Listen, Chris Wilder's a football man. He loves the game. He loves talking about it.
And he loves the club, by the way.
But he loves Sheffield United. So there'll be a huge amount of disappointment in the way it's finishing there. But he'll be looking to go on to pastures new and trying to be a success somewhere else, I'm sure.